Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, June 4th. So we have the moon in Leo all day. Now this is going to work for us because again, it's a fire energy. We've been in a funk as of late. We can blame the moon in Cancer for that. We can blame Mercury coming out of retrograde for that. We can also blame Saturn going retrograde today for that. However, the fire energy we got working in the cosmos for us, we're going to hold on to that. It fuels us, it sparks us, it motivates us, it inspires us. The moon in Leo is bold and brave and courageous. We want to connect. We want to have fun. We want to lighten the vibe. We are going to have a couple of aspects today that really helps us break free of the funk that we've been in and really kind of set our soul on fire in all the right ways. There are 8 different aspects here today. 7 of them involve the moon. Right out of the gate, we have the moon in Leo, trining, blending its energies, harmonizing with Mars, who is in its place of power in Aries energy. This is fire on fire, my friends. We are fired up in our heart space. We are motivated. We are inspired. We are passionate. We know what we want. We know what we need. We know what we desire. And guess what? Right now, we are being encouraged to take a step forward, to take an action, to make a move, even if it's a baby step, to get closer to where it is that we want to be, to pursue some elements that we now desire to have, to put ourselves out there emotionally, a way that we haven't in a very long time. This is definitely going to fire us up in all the right ways. Again, bringing that fire element back, sparking us up, making us see where we got to bring some confidence back. We got to bring some optimism back, and where it is that we have to be very, very focused on how it is that we are going to use this energy to our advantage. The moon will be squaring Venus though. And a square is a tension point. Just think of a boxing ring. We got to kind of get in there and fight it out. And what we're fighting with is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure and money. Now she is in her place of power in Taurus, in earth energy. Anytime that a fire energy and an earth energy comes together, there's always a little bit of a element of combustion. Why? Well, if you add too much fire to that earth, we're just going to burn the whole forest down. And if there's too much earth to all that fire, we're just going to snuff out that fire altogether. But if we're able to strike a balance, we are able to create a really beautiful campfire that will give us heat, that will stay stable enough to give us light, and that we're able to cook upon. So of course, that is a beautiful resource. But emotionally speaking, we are embodying the qualities and characteristics of Leo, the lion, that bold, that bravery, that courage that we've been lacking. But here's the thing, Venus, who is in Taurus, very grounded, very focused on the here and now. The moon in Leo is highly expressive, wants to be kind of playful, wants to kind of, bring out the inner child. And Venus right now, although she's down for being happy and she's down for bringing happiness and pleasure and joy into her life, she's also thinking long term. And this fire energy that we got going on in the cosmos right now really is kind of just acting a little bit too fast, a little bit too much, the fires are just too hot for Venus right now. She recognizes the danger that if this fire just, bursts out of control, that it's going to burn down all the work that she's done within herself. She's going to burn down the routines, the systems, the structures that she's built in her physical realm. She's going to burn down this particular emotional energy that she's not quite stable in as of yet. And this is where the tension comes about. The moon in Leo is highly expressive. That Leo energy is the heart and soul of the zodiac. Venus loves love. She is in her place of power. She's all about it, but she wants the long-term stuff. She wants the deep connection stuff. She wants a stable relationship, a stable connection, something that she can count on. She's only willing to put her emotional time, energy, and effort into something that's going to stand the test of time, not something that's going to change on a dime the minute that the mood is no longer happy-go-lucky. The moon is going to bump into Mercury. Again, Mercury just coming out of its retrograde, Yeah, we're just kind of sitting here trying to get our bearings. We have a lot to reflect upon, a lot to make sense of. The moon in Leo bumping into Mercury in this way is definitely trying to, let's say, get the heart and the head on the same page, but also trying to be a little bit more positive and confident and optimistic as far as reflecting back on the shit show that has been the couple of weeks, especially where our relationships are concerned. Now, Mercury is direct in Taurus energy, which means that we do have the blinders on. We are fixed because, of course, Taurus energy is fixed on what it is that we need to build, what it is that we need to create, what it is we need to give birth to in order to provide ourselves with a logical, practical plan to move forward. But does any of that make sense right now? No, it's not going to. We're not gaining clarity that quickly. And the moon in Leo technically is a little bit too playful to think about that long term. So this isn't a negative aspect, but we do have to recognize where it is that there is a give and take of really trying to enjoy the moment, enjoy what we got going on in the here and now, even though it doesn't make sense, even though there is this part of us that just wants, a plan, a strategy to take form so that we know the direction that we're taking. The moon and Leo just want to kind of lighten the vibe and have fun in the circumstances that we're at, even if we desire them to change. The moon is going to bump into Neptune, who is in Pisces. This is a little bit of an awkward energy, only because Neptune, who is in Pisces, wants us to connect with our highest self, our intuition, wants us to recognize where the soul contract, the soul lessons that we're in, the dreaming stage that we're in requires a lot more creativity, a lot more thought, a lot more vision than what it is that we're willing to actually put into it at this time. Now, let me just say this. The moon in Leo and Neptune being in Pisces bumping into each other in this way is very passionate. We could come up with some very interesting inspirations, very interesting ideas, but also what I feel mostly what is happening here, just because we're in this awkward phase where Mercury's coming out of a retrograde and Saturn's about to go in one, where we're kind of being pushed and pulled from reflecting over the past, reflecting at some very, very deep-seated emotions that are bubbling up to the surface in order to be expressed, because that's what the moon in Leo likes to do, is fully express oneself from its heart space. But the Neptune energy can get overwhelmed with all the thoughts and all the feels. We're hyper-stimulated. We're hypersensitive. We're bringing in all kinds of information from the subtle energies around us. And as much as we want to dream up, be inspired, and kind of reveal a new level of emotion, we're not quite focused enough to do that. Again, our mental plane, not on the same page. Mercury still needs to wake up. And this is taking place just a couple of hours before Saturn is going retrograde. So 4:42 p.m., Saturn, the Lord of Karma himself, is going retrograde in Aquarius. If you haven't listened to the astro event that I put out for this in June's energy forecast, I'm going to recommend that you do so. I dive a little bit deeper into what we can be expecting out of Saturn's retrograde for the next 4.5 months. But just know that Saturn is kind of the Lord of Karma. He does really like to apply pressure to us and throw us some tough love life lessons, and is kind of the leader of this negative Nancy narrative that many of us fall in. And because we're going retrograde, we have to move inward, and we are going to get tested, especially where our strength and our discipline is concerned, to really see whether or not we've learned anything and if we can walk the walk and talk the talk. And generally speaking, we are going to feel this heavy weight, the roles, the responsibilities, our commitments, our obligations weigh very heavily on us. It's all part and parcel of us reviewing those particular aspects in our life to see if we need to realign with a new mission and a new purpose. The moon will be sextiling the sun. This is a beautiful energy. I love it. First of all, the moon in Leo sextiling means we're blending energies. Just think of these aspects having quote unquote sex with one another. They're merging their energies, their positive energies with one another. And the sun, of course, ruling over our ego, our identity, our will, our motivation, is in Gemini energy, giving us a new opportunity to open up our minds, to try something new, to take the path less traveled, so to speak. The moon in Leo is all about it. And here's the thing, this is an overlap between our emotions and our unconscious self and what we're bringing into awareness so that we can integrate it, embody it, to actually make it work for us. So there's a boldness, there's a bravery, there's a confidence coming out, there's a playful energy. Our inner child is just wanting to be unleashed. We have the fire energy of Leo, we have the air energy of Gemini, and air and fire work very well together, but we have to keep it in balance. Our thought process can't get a little bit too crazy. We can't, go willy-nilly with all these ideas and add too much oxygen to this fire, else we're going to burn the whole place down. This fire energy, of course, needs to be stable. It doesn't need to be overly dramatic, which sometimes this Leo energy has a tendency to do. We don't want to exaggerate our emotions. We don't want to, we don't want to be telling stories. We don't want to be expressing ourselves from an overinflated point of view. We need to keep our thoughts and our heart space in tandem, in balance with one another. That is how this is the most positive aspect that we can use these blending of energies to the fullest potential. There's a spark, there's a new idea, there's a new courage and bravery to open up our minds, to try something new, but we have to keep both of those energies in balance. The moon is going to trine Chiron. This is another beautiful energy because it speaks very highly that we are healing certain aspects of our wounded self, of our ego self, of our identity self. Now, Chiron, being the wounded healer, not only illuminates our wounds, but also shows us how to heal them. He's in Aries energy, which does highlight the ego identity that we've kind of suffered some wounds because of the loss, because of the detachment, the disassociation that many of us have had to go through, especially through eclipse season over the last couple of weeks. But the moon in Leo, the heart chakra, is here to heal certain aspects so that we don't have to feel that heaviness that many of us have felt for far too long. The moon is expressive. The moon is creative. The moon is bold and brave and tired of looking back. We embody the elements of the lion, who is the king of the jungle. And right now we're just making, I'm going to say baby steps, but baby steps count. And they count because we're moving in the right direction. And we're counting them in the right direction because we're a little bit more open with our emotions, with our thoughts, with our feelings, with how it is that we've been feeling lately, because many of us, again, have been trapped up in keeping that to ourselves. So this is a huge, huge step forward for many of us because we are being illuminated to where it is that we are healing ourselves, mostly because we're open-hearted enough to recognize where it is that the vibe has been low, where we've been stuck in a funk, where we want better for ourselves, and we're allowing this Gemini season energy to at least open our minds up to new methods, new ways of doing things, new ways of communicating, new ways of expressing, which of course the moon in Leo is all about. We're going to wrap the day up with the moon squaring tension point, boxing ring with Uranus, the Great Awakener. Now, I know people cringe when I say it's a tension point, it's a conflict point. Nobody wants to get in a boxing ring and have to fight it out. But what comes out of a boxing ring is a winner. And the winning aspect here is that we are opening our hearts up. We are aligning with our heart space. We are fully expressive in our new passions, our new desires. This Uranian energy is the Great Awakener. So it opens up our mind space to accept the changes that we need to accept in order for our heart to be okay. The Iranian energy kind of shakes us up. We might have heart activations at this time where it might feel like our heart is willing to explode either from pain or excitement. The choice is yours. In order for us to see where a transformation is needed the most. The Iranian energy likes to free us from something, likes to liberate us from something, but has a tendency to create a little bit of chaos and confusion before it gifts us with clarity. And we've been in a retrograde with Mercury for far too long. There hasn't been any kind of clarity. This is essentially an epiphany, an aha moment where we are going to make that shift, not only in our mental plane, but in our heart space. We are going to gain a little bit of perspective, a little bit of clarity on where it is that we are healing certain aspects of our past because they're not doing us any good in the here and now. And they sure as hell aren't going to be serving us in the future.